partner couldn't get you off. It would be deeply frustrating. Don't you agree? This same frustration is felt by 3 out of every 4 women. These women want a ferocious lover who can satisfy their deepest sexual urges, pushing them to a level of pleasure they've never felt in their entire life. When I started using this incredible formula myself, I started to see changes in myself that were downright incredible. Spiking testosterone levels had me feeling like a horny teenager. It was like a bolt of lightning in my pants, waiting to be unleashed, ready and eager to fuck. I still remember Bonnie, an exotic dancer I met shortly after moving into my new apartment. She kept on telling me that I was the most beast-like lover she'd ever had, as I made her come again and again. Then there was Susan. You might think accountants would be boring in bed, but she screamed in delight every time we fucked, and once came so hard she nearly passed out. To be honest, I'm still shocked at my performance, and I could tell these women loved every minute of it. Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck does a middle-aged guy suddenly become such a hit with the ladies? How is it even possible that I could fuck for hours straight, leaving them begging for more? I'm not going to lie. It felt incredible being able to satisfy a string of women younger than me. After my divorce, I was a physical and emotional wreck. I was sabotaging each date before it even got to sex. My confidence was out the window. But in the back of my head, I knew there had to be a solution. So I started doing in-depth research. I learned that erectile difficulties were the result of your body being less able to increase blood circulation to the vessels surrounding your penis, which hinders it from filling it with blood and giving you an erection. Synthetic chemicals can force this process to happen artificially, but almost 1,000 men die every year from heart attacks due to these drugs. And according to published research, every time you put those artificial compounds into your system, it can make it even harder to ever get another natural erection again. Intent on finding a way to resurrect my failing penis once and for all, I started spending thousands of dollars on things that sadly never did. Pills promising the world but tasted more like sugar than anything else. Penis pumps that left me bruised and with hard-ons that faded after only a few minutes. Chinese herbal drinks that were genuinely awful and only ever gave me diarrhea. If there was even the slightest chance I thought it could help, I bought it and I tried it, until it seemed there was only one option left: surgery. My doctor could introduce me to a surgeon, and for a price of just over $10,000, he would perform a vascular reconstruction, slicing my penis open and connecting the main vein to one of the veins from my stomach. But as I prepared to go under the knife, I spoke to a handful of guys who had done it, and they all regretted their choice. One lost his ability to get hard. One lost 90% of all sensation down there. One even had a massive deformity, where his penis healed at the wrong angle. I was furious, as I knew there was no way I could take that kind of risk. But thankfully, this turning point led me directly to the hard erection secret I'd accidentally discovered a few days later, and it came from a most unusual source. As I got home from work one evening, I couldn't help but notice a guy from the 10th floor. He was in pretty good shape and just a few years younger than I was. Yet he was wrapped in the arms of a girl who must have been about 25, and she was stunning. As he pried himself from her grip, he slapped her butt as she walked out. He caught me staring at her ass and gave me a wink as we both got in the elevator. Before I could say anything, he spoke with a calm and collected voice. "She's cute, isn't she?" Yeah, I blurted out. "How the hell do you land a girl like that?" With a chuckle, he introduced himself as Roberto and invited me over for a coffee. We chatted about everything, from life to work to women, and it was a little later that same evening he told me, "There's no big secret to being a real man. You just need the right fuel to reawaken the man of steel inside." I was intrigued. I'd spent so long reading and researching this topic on the internet. It sounded simple, yet I could also hear his words ringing true. And then he looked at me a little quizzically and asked, "How about you try it with me, Mark?" Following him with a little trepidation into the kitchen, Roberto started pulling things from his cupboards. Strange packets of herbs, many in languages I didn't recognize. Powder-filled jars labeled with photos of plants I'd never seen. Ingredients from the old country, he kept saying. And a few minutes later, Roberto was finished, handing me a jar filled with a curious mix of powder. "This is for you, enough for a week. Just drink 1 scoop each night before bed.